The long-awaited One Piece live-action Season 2 is finally here, and I initially thought that I was going to review every single episode by itself, but then it got me thinking, oh my god, that would take a lot of time. And I think it made sense for me to review the first episode in one video and the rest of the season in this video, because the first episode was one I had a lot of problems with. These remaining episodes, however, they are quite good, but also have some bad moments. So let's discuss them together, and of course you should give me your thoughts on everything I say in the comments below. So let's get it, let's go. First and foremost, stop it with the bad dialogue. Stop it with the freaking puns. This episode's name is called Good Whale Hunting. Nobody thinks that's funny. Why are you using that? Nobody hunted a whale this episode. Alright? Luffy didn't even fight with the whale this episode. He tried to punch him once, I guess. Come on. Stop it with the freaking puns. Oh, and guys, by the way, I'm not gonna comment so much on the performance of Luffy, because I think I just did that in the last video. So if you haven't checked that out, click the link in the description and let's continue. So we're gonna start immediately with Laboon. Amazing. He looks so real. I mean, look at even the scars on his face. Look at him. Not his face, but I guess it's his face. The scars on Laboon's face look absolutely fantastic. And I just cringed there, but no problem. I think the actor playing Crocus was phenomenal. I mean, I almost got the feeling of the actual anime watching him. That's how good he was as an actor and as portraying Crocus. I mean, let's face it, it's not that hard to play Crocus. He's just an old man sitting there trying to be funny and stuff. So it's not the hardest role in the world, but I think he did it perfectly. But speaking of Crocus, this is him sitting right in front of Luffy, right? Well, this is him at, I don't know, 72 years old? But this is a flashback of 50 darn years ago. You telling me this guy is 20 something? Come on. Come on! Guys, this is the One Piece show. The freaking One Piece story. You can't have such blunders in it. I mean, did nobody just think, oh, we casted an old guy as a freaking 20-year-old? I mean, just do the same that you did with Vivi and found Robin and many others that were in freaking backstories. Can you imagine Luffy actually having a backstory and playing as the kid himself in Haki? That's very weird. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, he's a good-looking old man. I'm not gonna say nothing about that, but he does not look like 20. What are we on about here?
But that was no use.
Honestly, guys, that was just disgusting. I also really love the fight between Nami and Vivi. This was actually one of the best fights in this entire season. And I'm not over-exaggerating even. I like how Vivi was portrayed as this villainous type character and stuff, and she was actually doing work on Nami, actually. I think this was quite a good fight because they used the environment a lot. It was a pretty short one. They used a lot of the environment. They used the ship and I like her weapons as well, Vivi's. That was cool. This jump from Nami, also pretty cool. So yeah, one of the best fights of this series entirely. But I think by far the best moment of this entire episode is none other than Luffy and Yaki singing Bing's Crew to Laboon to make him remember those guys from 50 years ago, the Rumbai Pirates. And we get to see Brook. I think Brook's freaking cast was brilliant as well. Hopefully they know how to freaking animate him when he becomes a skeleton, but this is what it is. Yeah, I mean, I really love the song and the Nika dance as well. Dum da dum da dum. Yeah, love it, fantastic. Going into episode 3, the look of Whiskey Peak was actually phenomenal. it looked actually like the arc from the anime, The Island, which is fantastic. That's what I want to feel. I want the environments to feel like the anime, to feel like this incredibly fantastical and weird and historic, but kind of not story. But I don't want the actors to be like the anime, you know? When Zoro tries too much to be serious, don't be like that. Zoro did not lose his smile, alright? He did not lose his smile until later on in the series. Laugh a little bit, have fun a little bit, okay? You can be serious, but that's what I mean. Of course, Luffy cannot do the Eneru face, right? But he could do another face which is realistic and not cringe, maybe, alright? You can tell when a person tries too much. Right now, I'm trying too much, you know? But if you're kind of trying like that, I'm not trying to teach the actors how to do their job. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to discuss what I didn't like and what I did like. And what I didn't like was that they over-exaggerated some certain parts. But what I was initially talking about was the aesthetic of the island, was the feeling of when we head into Whiskey Peak. It was beautiful. Listen, the party, amazing. Amazing party, everyone doing their thing. But guys, one of the most iconic moments of One Piece, of the entire series, happens right here. Why? Because Nami deceives everybody, alright? And fell asleep from drinking, right? She got too drunk and drank too much. I think that's the same thing. Too drunk and drank too much. But she supposedly fell asleep. And Zoro was the only one that was awake, right? Because he drinks a lot and he could tolerate it. Luffy was out. Usopp was out. Sanji was out. Everybody was out. They did not know even what was going on. That, for me, is much better in the anime. Not because I like the anime and the manga more. No. It is because it highlights more of Zoro's upcoming moment. It's like Zoro alone is facing the entire island by himself, and we kind of do see that as well. But the other guys, they're not knocked out. They're kind of doing their thing. We're kind of showing them going back and forth between Luffy, Zoro, Nami, Sanji, Usopp as well. So that's really why. And also because the confusion between Luffy and Zoro happens right here. Why is Zoro attacking these guys when they brought us so much food and they brought us so much drink and they were so nice? Well, Luffy wakes up still a little bit drunk, still full, and asks him about what the hell just happened right here. He tells him that Zoro was the cause of all of this. And so Luffy he loses his mind. This is one of the most iconic things that happens in the series because it was the first time, let me say, the crew fought between one another kind of seriously. Luffy was serious, Zoro was trying to stop him, right? But they really attacked each other. They wanted to take their heads off, right? That's an iconic moment. And it's also iconic how they one-shot Mr. freaking Mr. 5 and Miss Valentine, I think. I don't know the Baroque works names, but you know the Kilo girl. They one-shot her and Mr. 5 together, right? So that is also iconic. I get that they wanted to make Mr. 5 a more scarier character and kind of be tough like that, but he wasn't that good with the comedy, honestly. Mr. 5, he was good. He's good at portraying the character, but he's not good at portraying the comedy, in my opinion. I mean, his powers are pretty wacky, but he did a good job. He did a good job being a threat, to say the least. And the Kilo girl, just as annoying as the anime, so she did a fantastic job, honestly. But that's why I think that Zoro should have been alone to highlight his entire moment. He is kind of alone, but the other guys are not asleep. Here, and he fights against everybody. But I also really love this fantastic character developing for Zoro when they make it as though that Mihawk is still bothering him inside his own head. and giving him that extra motivation to keep going, to become stronger, and to go towards his goal. This was actually perfect. I think this should have been in the manga, honestly. That's what I'm saying. This was one of the best moments of this entire show. I thought Igaram's sacrifice was actually pretty good. Some people did not like it, just because of that. You know, you're not supposed to throw a booger like that. You're supposed to throw it like this, no? You've done it when you were a kid. Don't lie to me. The music choice here isn't all that One Piece like, but it was alright. It kind of made up the tension, so I also liked it. Vivi's acting was good. Nami's acting was also good. Thing is, right here, they did not have that many peaceful interactions between one another. So it kind of does not really make sense that they hugging each other, because they're not that close, you know? In the anime, they became closer than what they were here, right? But I can move fast from this. And also a focal point that I've also not heard many people talk about is that the identity of Mr. Zero was actually revealed here. Now, what happens when you have an 8-episode series and all of that, and it comes out once in a while, once every 2 years, 3 years maybe, is that you have to have the tension right at the end, right? So they saved the moment of Crocodile's reveal up until the last episode, and I think it just suited here better. That's just my opinion. Maybe you can hate on my opinion. Some stuff, when they change, I can tell you, I really love it. But some stuff, I think they misplace. Now, episode 4, Little Garden, was actually pretty cool. The aesthetics was good. The fighting, however, from this episode onwards, becomes very dull and very bad. And I say it with all of my heart and love for One Piece, alright? I want this to be better. That's why I'm saying it. It's not that it's very weak or very bad. It's not like it's a 1.5 out of 10 or something like that. But it's a 6, you know? It's alright. It's not the best. And I'm thinking of, they gotta have enough money for the bigger stuff, you know? It was first in the charts in 80 countries on Netflix. You know how crazy that is? And it stood there for like, I don't know, 3 or 4 months? I don't know how long. So you'd think they got enough money to do some better fighting in the series. I think the moment when Zoro comes out of the wax looked really horrible, with him kind of jumping and attacking at the same time. I can show you that. Wait, hold on. Here is it. So Usopp, we'll talk about him in a little while. But he shoots an exploding star at Zoro. Zoro kinda jumps out and does this slash with a... First of all, the fire on the swords did not look good whatsoever. It felt like I could do... No, I could not do a better job, but you guys understand my banter, right? So, but the actual jump, I mean... This just looks horrible. Horrible. It looks so bad. And when you're supposed to slash somebody and you hear the sound effect, where is the freaking blood? Where is the blood, bro? Where is that? There's a lot of swearing in this season. A lot of swearing. That you want to show the teenagers and the young kids, right? But no blood. Oh, we fear blood. So which demographic are you going for? Are you going for the adult One Piece viewers, or are you looking for the kids? Because if you're looking for the kids, you didn't do a good job here, because okay, there is no blood, but there's a lot of swearing, right? And the normal demographic for One Piece should be adult, because the average One Piece watcher is over 30 years old, bro. I mean, come on, guys. Come on. Do a little bit better. On the other hand, Mr. 3, the main guy himself, The main villain of this entire arc, these 2 episodes, is fantastic. Of course he's fantastic. He's a A+++ actor. He's been in some of the greatest movies in recent times. Of course he's gonna do a good job. People saying that he's cringe, yes, that is not his fault. Maybe he comes out a little bit cringe. Maybe he comes out a little bit cringe. Why? Because the dialogue is so freaking bad. There's so many terrible one-liners. Even for Zoro and Nami. They're good actors. But still, so many terrible one-liners. This one was okay. But there's too much one-liners that make it too cringy. But I'm gonna tell you one thing, guys. By far the best thing about this arc is, of course, not Miss Golden Week. No. She was pretty terrible. And I get into it. It was Usopp. Usopp doing bits, just like we want him to do bits in the manga, and my camera is fucking shaking because I'm all over the place. But Usopp was doing the work, bro. He was over there trying to save Luffy. He came back to Luffy after he was taken. He gone back also to the giants. He spoke to the giants. He like conjured up some courage to go and talk to the giants. He talked smack to Mr. freaking 5, and his fight with Mr. 5 and Miss Golden Week. Bro fought for 2 villains at the same time.
You come up with that code name yourself? Because you don't seem very sweet.
And his lines, I think his lines was pretty cool, because these kind of stuff suit Usopp. He's the coward one. He's the guy that says one line is just whoop. He dips out of there. But here, I think he influenced it a lot, because Usopp is one of the best actors on the crew. I think him and Nami are the best too. And so I think Usopp actually kind of went in and changed his own dialogue. I can't remember that he said that, but perhaps. And maybe I'm also wrong. Maybe the Usopp dialogue was just pretty good.
Incredibly sweet.
Like this, I am incredibly sweet. How cringe is this? And she's just running after him. Yeah, we're not gonna talk about the dialogue, please. And let's go to Miss Golden Week, right? Miss Golden Week was the polar opposite of the manga. In this version, she's this cruel and hungry for killing and all of that. I think it's portrayed like she killed her own parents, which is just crazy. That would be cool for a villain, honestly. But yeah, my Doflamingo, you know. But still, this is not her character. So we differentiated too much from Miss Golden Week's character, because she's actually a pretty good person. She's a nice person. Okay, she was working with Baroque Works, but you know, life deals you a hand sometimes, and you gotta take it, even though it's bad. But later on, when Baroque Works got taken down, she actually liberated some of the Baroque Works agents, like the agents that we're gonna see next season. I'm not gonna dive deep into that, but she's the polar opposite of herself, and that's why I didn't like this character. And now you're like, what? Out of nowhere, he's wearing a cap? What the hell is going on? Yeah, I had to go out for a moment, but alright guys, I thought I was going to be able to review this entire season in one episode. Apparently, that wasn't all that good, because I'm a very busy guy, you know, doing a lot of stuff, so I just had to go up in mid-video. So, we'll come back in the next one, and that will be the final one. I will review the entirety of the Chopper arc, the Chopper backstory and everything. So, stay tuned for it. Hit the like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel, and subscribe to the second channel if you want more anime manga reactions. I'll see you guys next time. Maybe not manga, what the hell. Peace.